thus too one of the most, if not the most iconic and popular Counter-Strike map of all time. But even with its simplistic design that encourages straight up gunfights, there is still a lot of room for strategy and tactical gameplay. So in this video we'll focus on the short area by analyzing the utility used by the professionals, and this way see how they get control of this crucial part of the map. This short control then opens up the opportunity to do an A-Execute, which is something that will be discussed in more detail in the next video. Let's jump straight into it. Starting off, the first issue that players or teams face when they want to get control of short is the vulnerability of catwalk to the mid doors. Due to the gap in the doors, a defender playing from this position could counter any aggressive pushes from the attackers at catwalk. So to prevent this option for the CTs and create a safer passage for the attackers, there's one very common solution, the Xbox smoke. There are two different variations to achieve this Xbox smoke. The main benefit of using the Xbox smoke from this position is that it can be done very early in the round, which allows for a quick short rush by the time the teammates reach the catwalk at top middle. By this time the smoke has already landed on top of Xbox and completely blocks off all the vision through the mid doors. For the lineup, position yourself standing next to this wall, then aim up at the wooden beam and make sure to place your crosshair above the Xbox. Release with a jump throw and the smoke will land in the correct position. Now in some situations it might not be safe to get into this angle at the front of spawn, since it will expose you to anyone that is peeking through the doors at middle. So a safer alternative lineup is this one at the back of spawn. When standing in the corner, aim up above this line on the wall and use the top of this other wall on the right side as a reference for the height. Then jump throw and the smoke will land in the same position on top of Xbox. Note here that both of these lineups are for 128 tick servers. So if you're playing matchmaking on 64 tick servers, then you'll have to slightly adjust the lineups to get the same results. What if you don't use an Xbox smoke at the beginning of the round, but still want to take short in the mid round? Well, in such a scenario it would be a waste of time if you had to run all the way back to T-spawn to use one of the previous Xbox smoke lineups. So instead you could use this smoke lineup from Electronic. This one can be thrown from close to top middle, and this way saves you a lot of time. The lineup is very straightforward. Come over to this position next to the wall, then aim up at this pattern as shown on screen, run and release with a left click throw after a few steps. The smoke bounces on the left side wall before landing on top of the Xbox. This is a good way to keep your opponents guessing about the amount of forces you use at short during a mid-round rotation, and this way it could give you the strategic advantage. So we've eliminated that angle from middle, but what about anyone playing these close angles at short? Well, to counter that there are a few different options. When running up the catwalk, a first thing to do could be to use a simple flashbang that bounces against the wall. This would already be a first distraction for any defender that pushed up aggressively and would probably force him off the angle. However, this only gives you control of that first angle of short, but it doesn't allow you to clear out that area towards the top of stairs. So for that we need some other tools. One option could be to ask one of your teammates in lower tunnels to throw a flashbang that pops at the corner of short. This way any defender at either the stairs or even in this angle behind the box will be blinded and will have a very hard time of taking down the peeking attackers at short. For the lineup, the pros use a few different variations, some more effective than others, but most of them use one of these pillars at the lower tunnels. So standing behind the right side pillar, aim up as shown, and you can use the top of this wood on the left as a reference and release with a left click throw. The flashbang will pop right into the vision of anyone standing on the stairs, and it will even flash any AWPer that is holding the tight angle like this. Now getting the lineup correct is very important for this flashbang. As we see in Tarek's POV, he aims slightly lower to what I've shown before, and this results in the flash flying a bit deeper into the angle. The result of this is that Stewie, who was holding this tight angle with the AWP, does not get blinded by the flashbang. So if any of the other Evil Geniuses player would have peeked short together with this flash, then they would have probably gone down to the AWP. So always make sure that your flash placement is on point. In pug environments where players can't really rely on pop flashes from their teammates, they will often throw a flashbang similar to this one. This flash is bounced off the wall on the right and it pops near the top of stairs. But this comes with a disadvantage however, because this flashbang does not blind any of the players that are playing in the close and forward positions on the stairs. And because the flashbang first bounces off the wall and takes a long time to pop, it will be very easy for any CT at the latch position to just dodge the flash and re-peek into the angle afterwards. so be careful when using such a flashbang. With this in mind, you'll see a lot of pros actually use Molotovs to really flush out any of these close and forward positions at the stairs of short. Most of these don't really require any specific lineups, since the area is already quite small. But for those of you who really want a consistent solution, this common lineup from Hunter might give you a good start. The Molotov is thrown from the small wall at middle, and it will land at the foot of the stairs. The benefit of this lineup is that it can be used early in the round, but it also comes with a small vulnerability due to the gap in the mid doors. So make sure to only use this nade when you either have some teammates watching middle, or if there's a smoke deployed in the doorway. For the lineup, come over to this corner in the wall, then aim up at the position where the lamp is attached to the wall, and release with a simple left click throw. If you do this correctly, then the Molotov will land in the middle of short, and leave the complete foot of the stairs area in flames. One small note, if you're playing on lower graphics settings, then the lamp doesn't show up. So you'll have to memorize this lineup in a different way. You could, for example, use a white line inside the window on the right side as a reference for the height. Instead of using a Molotov to clear out these angles, Navi sometimes uses a different approach, which involves this flashbang from Flamey. The flashbang is thrown from the area near the long doors, and it will pop above the roof of the building at short. This way, all the defenders that would be in a forward position near the stairs will then be blinded and become easy targets for the short attackers of Navi. An interesting benefit of using this flashbang is related to Navi's team setup across the map. If they use Flamey's flash to clear out short, then the rest of the attackers can save one extra flash for themselves, which they can later on use during the A-Execute. At the same time, since Flamey will most likely be playing a lurking role towards long, he will therefore not really benefit of having that extra flash available. So definitely an interesting approach from Navi. For the lineup of this flashbang, come over to the shadow next to this box. Then aim up somewhere in this area and release with a jump throw while shortly running forward. Depending on where you throw the flash, different angles will be flashed while others are not affected by it. So throwing it slightly more to the left will be very effective to the latch position that we've seen in one of the previous examples. However, this flashbang doesn't work for any of the close angles at stairs. So that's where a flash more to the right would come in handy. Now to wrap up this short control video, let's have a look at one last trick from G2, as they take their short control to the next level. Instead of using an Xbox smoke at the beginning of the round, they decide to go for a different approach by sending two of their players rushing down the mid lane. Before looking into the actions of these two players, let's quickly shift our attention to Nexus POV, as we see him use a smoke lineup that we haven't mentioned before. This smoke lineup sends a smoke towards the top of the stairs at short. This way, by the time the short defender arrives in this position, he is now forced to make the decision to either play in front of the smoke or to concede short control and instead fall back to side or long. So whatever decision the defender makes, he's either taking a big risk or he's forced to give up early map control. So together with the smoke, the two attackers at middle then use their Molotovs to burn the area in front of the smoke, and this way they will completely deny any map control for the defender. The lineups for the Molotovs are quite simple. Hunter first uses that same Molotov that we have previously mentioned, which lands at the foot of the stairs. Jax then provides a second Molotov, which is thrown from this corner at catwalk. An easy bounce on the right side wall, and the Molotov will land on the top part of the stairs, just in front of the smoke from Nexa. Nexa's smoke lineup is thrown from the same position as that Xbox smoke at the back of spawn. This time, aim up at the top right corner of this window. Then shift walk forward and release with a jump throw when the crosshair passes this line. The smoke bounces once on the roof and then lands at the top of stairs, next to the box, and leaves no gaps for the CTs to peek through. Alright, so we have seen many different ways to use our utility to get control of the short area. By analyzing some of the most commonly used nades from these pro teams, I hope it gives some insights that will help you to get more consistent success on Dust 2. And if you've liked the short control video, then also make sure to check out the next video that analyzes the most important nades during an A-side execute from short. As always, if you want to rewatch a certain part of this video, or quickly jump back to one of your favorite nade lineups, I'll leave timestamps in the description and the comment section below, so you can easily navigate to that part of the video. For now, good luck with practicing, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.